Are you getting down to brass tacks to supersize grow your business? Now, I don't think these are actually brass tacks, but they are tacks. Remember the old tacks? They used to be brass, and we had them in our bulletin boards in school and class before they made all the fancy shapes and colors and plastic different extruded ones that exist today. Most of the tacks look like these, or the bigger bubbled head. And they were actually, this is one of those interesting idioms that there's some contention over where it actually originated, because it could have come from a couple of different things. One source says that the expression getting down to brass tacks was because there was such a rush to create Abraham Lincoln's coffin after he was murdered by John Wilkes Booth at the Ford Theater. They had to hurry and create a coffin for him. Since he was such a tall man, they needed to make a fancy coffin fit for a president. So they used tacks, brass tacks, to, and I don't remember if they were brass or not, they were fancy tacks to decorate and embellish his coffin. There were there was brass around the handles. There were 4 handles on each side. And then there was a brass ring or circle or something on the top. I can't remember what it was, but they were talking about that. So it could have come from that. However, it's from the 1800s for sure. It came about, and I'm looking for a magnifying glass. I'm not crazy, just can't see what I'm doing. So that was one of the disputed origins. And it was also used in fine upholstery. Brass tacks were used to tack and hold the fabric to the frame of different pieces of furniture and upholstery. And it's also the third contender in where it actually originated was Cockney rhyming slang. In Cockney rhyming slang, or criminal behavior, they would talk in slang and rhyming words, and brass tacks, T-A-C-K-S, was used to talk about covering their tracks or other things like that, but they would rhyme it with things that would, so that people were, if people were listening or trying to overhear them, they wouldn't really know exactly what they were talking about. And so those are the 3 possible places it could have come from. It also showed up in a Texas newspaper in January of 1863 and was actually used to talk about politicians. Imagine that. Politicians and their own selfishness and self-interest. And it was something about getting down to brass tacks. What does this mean? It means to get to the point, get to the essential details of a situation, get to the facts, and decide what kind of action you're going to take in order to deal with the situation. So my question for you today is, do you have a process for getting to the point, getting to the details, problem solving, and getting to the pertinent information about a problem in order to switch to the solution as quickly as possible? Our discussion today in this year's annual challenge, the Get Your Goals annual challenge, is all about being solution focused and the impact that that has on your confidence level. I got to actually practice that this morning because my ring, not my ring light, but one of the lights I use for filming my videos fell off and broke off. The screws came loose, and it has this whole assembly, which to somebody visually challenged, this is a pain to try to figure out in a not super lit room in the morning. So what I did is I just took this section out, attached it to a stand, and got the light working. So instead of focusing on, oh my God, this is terrible. And I had a little bit of that, right? We all have a little bit of, okay, this is the problem, this is awful, and feeling sorry for ourselves. But the faster we can get out of that mindset and into the, okay, what action can I take? What can I do? Yep, COVID's here. We can't go out. We might have to shut our business down. But what can we do to keep generating income, to keep serving people, to keep moving forward? And the people that actually in COVID took that perspective and said, okay, this just happened. What am I going to do now? And I love that. I love that. Okay, as soon as I can get myself to say, all right, that just happened. What am I going to do about it? And sometimes the answer is nothing. But a lot of times the answer is I'm going to take some action to move in the direction I want to go so I can supersize and build my business. So love to know your thoughts about the origin of this. What do you think is the most likely origin of this particular idiom or expression? I'm kind of leaning toward the upholstery industry, but that's just me because I like manufacturing, and so I always have a propensity to go for the manufacturing option. But what does it mean to you, and how might you use it in your business? Do you need to shore up your processes for decision making? Do you need to get people in your organization and culture to focus more on the solutions than on the problems? Our cultures kind of take on a life of their own sometimes. And we have to remember that the speed of the pack is determined by the speed of the leader. And so if we're not behaving in a solution-focused manner, if we're freaking out every time something goes wrong, and I've had businesses in the past where I behaved that way, and I learned that I was the problem. I was the bottleneck. I was the one with the wrong attitude about a particular situation. And as soon as I changed, everyone else in the organization magically changed too and became more solution-focused. That's it. Have an awesome Sunday where I am. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from, if known? And how might you use it to supersize and grow your business? Just to get you thinking today. Have a great day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.